Gout Gout, 18 years old. The fastest teenager on the planet, Noah Lyles, Olympic 100-meter champion, the most decorated sprinter in the world. They are not racing yet, but the internet saw something in those few seconds, and it has not stopped arguing since. Gout Gout grew up in Ipswich, Queensland, 40 kilometers from Brisbane. He played soccer before switching to sprinting. His coach Diane Shepherd spotted him at 12 and knew immediately that she was looking at something unusual. What followed proved her right faster than anyone expected. At 16, he erased a 56-year-old Australian national record in the 200 meters. A mark that had survived every talented Australian sprinter for over half a century was gone in a single race. At 17, he reached the semi-finals of the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, making him the youngest sprinter ever to get that far at a Senior World Championships over 200 meters, February 2026. A small Saturday club meet in Brisbane called the Dame Bird Smith Shield. Gout showed up, ran the 100 meters, and crossed the line in 10.00 seconds. Legal win. New Australian under-20 record. Third fastest time ever run by an Australian man. April 12, 2026. The Australian Athletics Championships in Sydney. Gout ran the 200 meters in 19.67 seconds. He became the first Australian man ever to break the 20-second barrier at the distance. He set a new world under-20 record, clearing the previous mark of 19.69 set by American Ariane Knighton in 2022. He ran faster than Usain Bolt ever had at the same age. He has never run a competitive 150 meters in his life. That ends on June 16th. Noah Lyles is what a decade of dominance looks like. He won Olympic gold in the 100 meters at Paris in 2024, running 9.79 seconds in a race where every man on the line was elite, and he was still the fastest. He is a multiple-time world champion in the 200 meters. He holds the American record at 19.31 seconds, set at the 2022 World Athletics Championships. He opened his 2026 outdoor season at the Tom Jones Memorial in Gainesville, Florida, running 19.91 seconds over 200 meters in April. Solid, not his ceiling. A reminder that he is building towards something. When Lyles arrives at Ostrava on June 16th, it will be his first time competing at that meet. He is not arriving just to race the teenager. He is chasing a record. The 150-meter world best stands at 14.35 seconds, set by Usain Bolt in 2009. Lyles holds a personal best of 14.41 over the distance. He wants that world best. He wants it in Ostrava. Before this training video became the most discussed clip in track and field, there was already a real relationship between these two athletes. In January 2025, Gout traveled to Claremont, Florida, to train with Lyles and coach Lance Brahman's group for 2 weeks. He described it plainly. The athletes there were faster and stronger, and every session demanded your full attention just to keep pace. That visit was not a photo opportunity. It was a working education inside the most competitive sprint training environment in the world. The career advice Lyles passed along was specific. Learn to say no, especially in situations with fans. Stay level-headed. Be yourself. After Gout's 10.00 in Brisbane in February, Brahman sent a 3-word message to Gout's manager James Templeton. The boy is coming. That text arrived before any Ostrava announcement had been made and months before this training clip existed. When Ostrava organizers confirmed the June 16th matchup, they made a quiet observation. Both Lyles and Gout had each competed at the meet for the first time at the age of 17. Gout won there last June in 20.02 seconds over 200 meters. The 7 News Sunrise footage published on May 15, 2026, captured Gout Gout and Noah Lyles doing a block start together during a training session in the United States. No major cameras, no commentary, a spectator with a phone, 2 sprinters on a track. When the gun fires, Lyles gets out first. His reaction and his drive in those opening 30 meters are sharper. The gap at the start of the run is clear. Lyles pushes out of the blocks with the efficiency of an athlete who has been doing it at world championship level for years. Later in the drill, Gout closes. His stride pattern opens up into the kind of top-end speed that made 19.67 seconds possible in Sydney. He does not stop pressing, but the starting gap was visible and real. This is training. It is not a race. Coaches do not run trials and practices, but the footage is genuine, filmed in real time, and what it shows is the clearest look anyone has had at what these two athletes look like standing side by side on the same track under the same conditions. Social media split immediately. One camp pointed to the block start gap and said Gout needs years of development before his reaction and drive phase can match professional sprint standards. The argument is that elite sprinters build their starts over a decade of repetition, and that talent alone cannot close that kind of technical gap quickly. The other camp pointed to what happened after those first 30 meters. The comparison that came up most was Usain Bolt. Bolt was never known for his block start. He was slower out of the blocks than most of his rivals in almost every major final he ever ran. What he had was a top-end speed phase so dominant that no lead built in the opening 30 meters was ever enough to hold him off. The argument online is that Gout shows the same profile. One detail matters here. The gap Lyles creates at the start of that training drill shows exactly where the teenager still needs to develop against seasoned professionals. But the fact that Gout can match that top-end speed after the drive phase is what makes the footage so compelling. The 150 meters is not a standard race. It lives between the 100 and the 200, long enough that maximum velocity decides the outcome, short enough that the drive phase still shapes the opening of the race. Gout Gout has no competitive result at this distance. His data comes from the 200 and the 100. At 100 meters, he has run 10.00. At 200 meters, 19.67. That combination suggests a strong top speed phase over the back end of any middle distance sprint. What it does not confirm is how he performs when the race is shaped entirely around 150 meters of sustained pressure from the blocks. Lyles arrives with a personal best at the distance and a clear target. Breaking 14.35 requires him to run the best 150-meter time in recorded history. That is what he is building toward. Gout arriving in the same race on the same night changes the pressure dynamic for everyone involved. June 16th will mark the first time they have ever stood next to each other on a start line with a result that matters attached to it. Gout Gout's world under-20 record is 19.67 seconds. Noah Lyles holds the American record at 19.31. That third of a second is real distance at the ceiling of what humans can do. The absolute top of the rankings shows Gout is still closing, not closed.